What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. The NBA today is dominated by up-tempo style of play, three-point shooting, and a lot of offense, and I mean a lot of it. Not only has three-point shooting and versatility on offense become more and more common around the NBA today, but it's now become practically a priority. And I think that a lot of NBA players today are underappreciated because of it. Not every player has a flashy offensive game, nor can they all be expected to be great three-point shooters. However, that does not mean they're not highly talented players, even if the style of play in the NBA today might have you believe otherwise. And in reality, many NBA players today would actually be much better fits for the NBA back in the 1990s. A few players that often come to mind when referring to this topic likely are DeMar DeRozan, Ben Simmons, and maybe even a guy like Joel Embiid, and while I do agree with that, they have each been capable of adapting enough to the modern NBA to become an all-star at one point or another. But what about the average NBA players that are often forgotten about because their style of play does not really fit the modern NBA? How would they fare in the league 20 to 30 years ago? Now here is where the topic can get interesting. It is not that hard to claim that DeMar DeRozan would be even better in the NBA 20 years ago, but what about an average to maybe even below average player? Personally, I think that would be a lot more interesting to think about, so in today's video, I'm going to be presenting an argument for 3 average players in today's NBA who I believe would have all-star potential if they played in the 1990s. And I am going to begin by presenting an argument for Jahlil Okafor, a former 3rd overall pick in the 2015 NBA draft. Okafor has now found himself out of the NBA. If you are looking for the perfect example of how the NBA falling in love with the three-point line negatively affected a player, look no further than Jahlil Okafor. He went from being a highly valued NBA player who not only was taken 3rd overall in the 2015 NBA draft, but he put up 17.5 points per game during his rookie year. However, it was all downhill from there, as he went from being a 3rd overall pick in 2015 to then barely even being valued in the NBA at all by his 3rd year. Unfortunately for Okafor, he was drafted right around when Steph Curry and Klay Thompson began lighting up the league with their three-point shooting, and that caused a dramatic shift in how the NBA was played. Rather than valuing big men who could score around the rim with a wide array of post moves, much like Okafor, the NBA began to value what they deemed as more efficient offense. And that meant that shooting from the mid-range area, posting up, and really big men in general who needed the ball in their hands quickly became a product of the past. All of that had now become quote-unquote inefficient. Rather, the NBA turned in the direction of only taking shots from the three-point line or directly at the rim, up-tempo style of offense, and primarily only viewing big men as rebounders, rim protectors, and rim runners. All of that absolutely killed the value of a guy like Jahlil Okafor, who is primarily known for being a talented post scorer. He won an NCAA championship in college by pretty much being unstoppable down low, but he quickly became a forgotten about player in the NBA. However, I believe he could have been a 20 to 25 point per game kind of player in the 1990s, with a near 7 foot, 270 pound frame, and with a wide array of low post moves. Jahlil Okafor would have been perfect for the NBA in the 1990s. Believe it or not, but he might have even been able to be a franchise player back then. I mean, really think about it. He is pretty much everything that the NBA valued in that era. He is a terrific player in the low post, he likes to play bully ball, and he has ideal height and length for a center in the 1990s. But now moving on to player number 2 that I believe could be an all-star in the 90s, and that player happens to be Ricky Rubio. Now don't get me wrong here, Rubio is a very good player even in today's NBA, but I believe he would be even better in the 90s NBA. Rubio has never come close to being an all-star in the modern NBA, largely due to being a streaky three-point shooter and not being a great on-ball defender either. Although his ability to be a floor general, average between 1 to 2 steals per game, and ability to finish around the rim would be valued much higher 25 years ago. I could even see Rubio being an 18 point per game and 10 to 12 assists per game kind of player back then, and I really have no doubt about his ability to be named an all-star during that era. And to me, he kind of perfectly embodies what the NBA valued in their point guards back then. I think he would not only be an all-star, but maybe even be regarded as one of the top 10 to 15 point guards of that era as well. But now moving on to player number 3, which happens to be Enes Kanter, or now known as Ennis Freedom. And not only would his name be more fitting in an era closer to when guys like World Be Free and Meta World Peace played, but his game would fit better too. He would very likely be a 20 to 25 point per game and 10 to 15 rebound per game type of player back then. He has a perfect combination of low post moves and rebounding ability to absolutely thrive in that era. And much like Jahlil Okafor, it would not even surprise me if he would have been considered a player that a team could build around. His offensive game would be an ideal fit for that era, and his defensive inability would be more hidden. Now, I know that many of us may not particularly like him, but it is undeniable that he would not be a very good fit for the NBA back in the 1990s, and bare minimum, I could see him making one All-Star appearance during that era, if not 3 or maybe more of them. But with that will conclude the 3 players that are average in today's NBA, but could potentially play at an all-star level in the 1990s. And what do you guys think? Who do you believe would be the best player in the 90s between Jahlil Okafor, Ricky Rubio, and Enes Freedom? Let me know your thoughts by commenting down below and we can talk about it there. And before you go, be sure to join the official Discord for the channel. We now have over 150 active members in there, and we have a lot of fun talking about the Lakers and really the entire NBA in general in there. If you want to join, I'll have it linked both on the screen and in the video description. That will do it for this video though. Big thank you to everyone who took the time to watch until the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and turn on notifications to get notified right away when I drop a new video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day.